What's up, guys? It's Mrjamvad, and today we are back for another episode of On the Contrary. If you're new to the channel, welcome, welcome. Quite a few of you guys have joined, but I'm not without my co-host Pokemon.
Hey, it's been a minute. What's up, everybody?
Yeah,
It's good
yeah,
to see ya.
yeah. See, you're not
I don't
seeing
see you at
nobody.
all.
What you talking about?
I'll stare at the comment. Talking about right there.
Nah, you're not seeing anybody. Yo, but yeah, I've been doing a lot of like interviews and stuff. I'm still gonna be doing a couple more of those. I think those were interesting.
They're very good listens.
It's a different thing. I actually thought about it. I was like, maybe I should just interview Joey instead. But I'm like, no, I'll save it
Right.
for later.
Yeah, there's like 500 of those out there, and to
Really?
be honest, yeah, I do so many interviews, like to the point that I deny interviews now almost, unless it's something like interesting, particular, because it's usually similar, very, very similar questions. But it depends from what style you would want to interview from. I did
I
one
mean,
recently for like a draft league that I liked.
oh, I didn't know you did interview. I've never seen an interview by you.
Kevin
What?
has like a 3 hour one on his channel with me, which is probably one of my favorite ones ever.
Well, I'm an interview king, so I'm pretty sure mine would be far superior. Not to Kevin's. He's a different level.
Kevin's a different
But
breed. You will
yeah,
not
yeah.
beat BKC when it comes.
The
When
long
it comes
form, nobody wins that battle.
yeah, yeah.
If it ain't at least
The
2 hours.
viewers win just because that video is uploaded. That's
Nah, that's my guy though. Actually, I've been working with him with some things, but yeah, that's for. Actually, that glad he came up. I think he might be interested in what we got going on. But I
yeah.
actually just reminded me. But yeah, but look, basically, guys, while we are here, it's to discuss the metagame, right? Crown Tundra is now what? Is it almost 3 weeks? Nah. I think it's a little over 2 weeks.
Second
So
to now. Yeah, 2 weeks.
um, and so a lot of people have been enjoying it. Now, a lot of people I'm sure are like kind of on the edge because they're like, all the other pre-releases or pre-release metagames kind of had the same fate in Gen 8. And so I think a lot of people are having trust issues right now. They're like, Isle of Armor was lit in the beginning. And then, so I think we can start there, Joey. Do you think
Yeah.
they will suffer the same fate?
I don't.
And why
I
not?
don't.
And why
Uh,
not?
First off, I think they have a different approach to this one, just based on the timing of the release of the game. With that, I mean that typically we'll see some quick bans and stuff like that because the game will come out the end of November and SPL draft is December, and they go right into tournament. This game came out towards the end of October, which gives us an extra month, right? It's kind of like with Oras. I don't know if you remember Oras. Salamence got banned before it even came out because we played with it for like a month and a half before or something, just because we had all the leaks. So I feel like this approach we get to actually play
You're
things
talking
out.
about Megamints.
Yes.
Okay,
Megamints.
okay.
So I feel like in this approach, I'm sorry, Pook, I didn't mean to hit you. In this approach, we get to feel the metagame out, and we've talked about before how a lot of stuff caters to the tournament scene, and the OU Council as well is doing a different thing as well. Like they quick ban, two pretty obviously or three pretty obviously broken Pokemon. I think they could have added a few more to that list as well, but the next thing they said they're going to be doing is they're running a community survey, which I'm going to put on my Twitter because my Twitter gets like a million more replies than their 200 responses to banning Cinderace.
Right.
So I'm going to put it there as well to Broner as well. And they're really just taking feedback. Like they might even add something like, hey, should we try bringing down Rusted Shield or whatever, Zalmazenta to OU type of thing. So I feel like they're a lot more receptive right now, especially because of how the last DLC went, and a lot of people did not like OU at all. I also feel like with the insane options we have too. I mean, one thing that's already a plus, just to give an example, like look at Blaziken. Currently, Blaziken is average, maybe, right? Like it's not good.
Right.
It's average. So like that's already something that, I mean, at this point, Blaziken is usually banned. It's already been 2-3 weeks. Blaziken is usually banned. So I feel like there's more of an open opportunity to test, to learn. And I've been talking a lot with Finchinator, ABR, and people too. And ABR's on the same thing. He's like, hey, I think that we should, allow as many Pokemon for as long as possible and see where the metagame goes instead of just quick banning for the sake of XYZ. Balance, which I think balance is also an unfair term because it's just so early. So how do we know? Like we were just discussing, like hey, I told you, what did I tell you? What mon did I say was really good? It wasn't fair, most of it. It was something that we haven't, like, that's maybe not that popular. Whatever. Let's take Barraskewda, for instance, like Rain. Or like, whatever. Like, Rain is nasty right now, in my opinion. I think it's really, really good. That's probably not going to be the case in, like, 2-3 weeks, right? But, like, at least, as long as we're taking the time to use the mons, to playtest with all the mons and everything, and again, I do agree with quick banning the obviously broken one like Genesect. That mon,
Right.
too much, and like Naganadel can snowball. I personally, I mean, I hate this argument, but like, I mean, I didn't have a problem with Naganadel,
Right.
but I mean, I was using broken Pokemon to check it. To be fair, so like, I think that their approach is going to be different here. And I fought like for the past year to like have my opinion be heard at least by people that are in charge.
Right.
Maybe not on my channel, but like directly to them. And I do think that they're actually trying to make a change, which I'm happy about. So I think that this metagame, like, to long story short, I do think that this metagame is going to be a lot more fun, if not the most fun we'll have since, I want to say, right before Pokemon Home was actually really fun, because I was using things like Vanillix and stuff, even though people didn't like it. I think Home was okay. Like, out of the three of them, I mean, Dynamax meta was definitely the best out of all of it, right? It was the most fun because it was wild. And then it just kind of fell off in Olive Armor. But I do think that right now we have a lot of potential to have a lot of crazy and fun tiers.
I don't think it fell off in Olive Armor. I think before, I mean, I think people forget they hated pre-Olive Armor. Like, everybody, it was like Corviknight, Toxapex, Wishcliff. People hated that. Like, I think Isle of Armor was just more recent, but I don't know which one was. I think if people really thought back to Wishcliff, T-Spike, Specs, Dragapult, Hex Spam type team, Mandibuzz, it was the same team every. Like, it was pretty tough.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it got really fun when Melmetal, Magearna, and Cinderace were all allowed for a little bit.
Right.
Like, those 2 weeks, 3 weeks were very fun, and then they banned, and then it got terrible again, in my opinion. But
I don't know if I don't think it's the. I think that was a mixture of a couple of things. I don't think it was just because of Cinder. Because I mean, who were kidding? The Magearna wasn't, a balanced Pokemon. Particularly.
Magearna broken should always be broken, right?
But I think now there's just so much that's back that, and I'm talking on the offensive side, and more importantly on the speed side. So now there are actually options for ground types. That's a big deal.
And just to add on to that, now we have offensive options too that can actually break, which I love. Heatran was the best Pokemon to come back easily.
Like, Heatran it shuts down everything. Like there's no one play style that a Heatran set probably can't do a good dent into. Like, it's just if you balance and it's Magma, your Toxapex is getting 8.
Option and you're playing offense,
you're getting eat. Like, but I think that's the big thing. Like, we didn't have any versatile.
100%, dude. Like, I mean,
one-dimensional mons were very much like, you pretty much knew all. Like, I don't give a damn what your Dragapult is. Most of the time, my combination of Clef and Mandibuzz Wall knew.
Yep.
But I mean, Tran, it's a little different. Go ahead.
Yeah, if we had Heatran that entire time, dude, like, just look at what was popular: Pex, Corvi, Clef, even the ground type Hippowdon. Like, none of those, like, those all can lose easily, man. And it's crazy. But like, I mean, now, not even just Heatran, but and obviously disregarding like the probably broken ones like Kyurem Black and Pheromosa. I'm still on the fence about them. I think Kyurem Black is pretty nasty. But in terms of offensive threats, again, we have Blaziken, which is new. We have Kartana, which is a big one. Even without Z-moves, Kartana is still a big one. Latios is one that I think people are sleeping on right now. It got Aura Sphere, got Mystical Fire. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's in due time, kind of. That's why I was like, people are playing with the new stuff. They don't.
Exactly. Yeah. Spectrier is really cool. Melmetal. Melmetal, obviously, people are, I think, sleeping on. Like, Galarian Zapdos, like, if they gave it Roost, it would have been nasty. And even, like, Tapu Lele, which is UU right now. Tapu Lele still hits so hard. Like, that mon
it'll be OU.
Yeah, easily, easily.
It's trends. It's just
And then
trends.
yeah, and then we have like cool mons that require work to use but are really good, like Regieleki and Reggie Drago. Like we
Hmm.
have so much that can dent, and even Dragonite. Like I'm so happy. The mons we had, and I do think that like some of it had to do with there being less Pokemon, but I also think the way that Smogon balanced it last DLC, I didn't personally like.
But
I
what
think
would
that
they have done? What would they have done
I
to?
think to shake things up, I didn't think Melmetal needed to be banned personally. That's one. Like even if it was
But wasn't that a
suspect,
suspect?
it was initially, but I really think that that was like done poorly. Like, and I feel like I don't know, like and a lot of the top competitive players as well also agreed it wasn't broken, just because the same things checked it that were checking everything, right? Like this was back during Dracovish meta too, so like size and tone on every team. You got Corviknight with Rocky Helmet. You got Pex as a pivot, things like that. Ferrothorn. So like it wasn't. I don't think it was inherently broken, and I think it would have made the metagame better, in a sense, better to play. I don't know if better as in terms of balance, but definitely better to play. The metagame was balanced, like to the hardest degree. I think that metagame was balanced. It came to a point where I would start up a Showdown live. I'd have Corviknight Clef. My opponent has Corviknight Clef. I close. I just turn off the Showdown live. I'm not about to do my first game 90 turns
Yeah.
just to wait for one opening for my Hex Pult to hopefully get a pair on Clef and then win. You know?
I think it was balance. I think when people think of balance, they think of, is there anything that's overwhelming? And so I think the dichotomy that I see is you're either I don't know, I mean this in the best way possible. You're either not good enough to really have an opinion, or you're good enough to have an opinion, but you're in an echo chamber. And so like a player that, if he's 1200, he's trying to have fun just like everybody else, right? He's not trying to play clef da 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 da. But if somebody's 1900, he may be well, technically clef such and such and such. It's quote unquote balance, but the balance, what they're thinking of as balanced, is there are no overwhelmingly I'll just say overwhelming offensive threats. And so when there are no overwhelming offensive threats, meaning, okay, you can pretty much counter every Pokemon or check every Pokemon, then okay,
Yeah.
it's balanced. But it's not if you think about a definition of balance, it's, if you think of a beam, like it's even, you know? And so it wasn't the defensive, looking for the right word, the defensive prowess was not balanced to the offensive prowess, which is why if you look at any tour game, unless they committed to making it like just let's even offense didn't look like offense. There was almost
Yeah.
no such thing as offense in the
Yeah.
pure sense, unless they committed to not having it long. And most tour players are just not gonna do that. And many people don't know, we were avid tour players back in the day. I think with the new audiences and stuff, I have to remember to remind people of this. So like we
I have to
were
remind people once a year.
right. Like we were top end tour players back in the day. Not even back in the day. I played last year in the World Cup. But World Cup's the only one I really play because it has the most time frame it's one battle for 3 weeks or something. Like 3 battles in 3. Like I can work with that with my schedule. It's SPL every week, nah. But tournament players, they're trying to win. They don't give a fuck about what the metagame is saying. They're not trying to have their L, and so they're gonna bring the fattest, most safe shit possible to.
That's why I don't like playing OU in tournaments. I think that's just a complete truth. I do not want to be bored while I play.
But that's just the nature of. Before that was always the case, but back in the day, you had the offensive,
bringers.
right?
Yeah.
You had the offensive end of the scale to like, if you're playing somebody who loves to bring fat in this case, if you're a newer listener, just means a very bulky or close to straight up stall or just straight up stall team. You'd have certain mods you go to, okay, I'm gonna put 3 of those on there. I got something for you. My Mrjamvad has something to say. You know, there was a balance of threats to punish a particular style of player.
Easily, yeah.
Whereas in the previous metagames, there was nothing. There's nothing you had that you could be like, okay, a guaranteed punish. You know, it was just like if he hadn't enough, like, and he can play, that thing is not going less than 150 turns.
Yep.
You may
That's
win,
why.
but it ain't being less than 150.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. That's why I stayed away from that stuff. That's why I play whenever I jump into a new tier, or if I want to jump into a new tournament, I'll play like this time. My recent tournament, I just played NU.
Right.
And I had a freaking blast. And you know what else I did? I innovated in that tier.
Right.
I actually built teams. Well, I built teams with people, but I actually built teams that might look trash, but they freaking won, and I was having fun. Like that's. And I finished #1 seed.
Right. Joey was killing the game, man. Shout outs to the book, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to the book. Get it from my link, guys. From my link. But for real talk, though, shout out to the book. Like I said, I always have these, and this is not necessarily with this podcast, but like I always have these random moments where like, damn, maybe I'm not good anymore. Yeah. And then refresh myself. I'll read the book. I'll practice her. And I think a lot of me being good has to do with enjoyability a lot. Like if I do not like a metagame, I will not like. I will not succeed at it. But once I like it, or if I'm having fun, I feel I've always said it. But I think my ceiling is very high. I have a very high ceiling, but I also have a very like it's either high or low. That's it. Nah. I don't think there's too much, and there's maybe autopilot in between, but that autopilot can only get you so far.
Nah, for sure. And I think you know. Obviously, many people don't know our conversations, but a lot of the times I know it's mental because I'm like, Joe,
yeah, it is.
Like, come on, bro, like you're tripping, and because a lot of people don't know, but Joey, I learned a lot from Joey when I was coming up, so like I know what he's capable of. I mean, even I remember back in the day, I don't think I generally do really. My tour records aren't generally like reflective because I'll take time. You're not pulling up on me in tour and having an easy battle, but because I had the time to prep and build and but now I don't like, and then people keep asking me why I don't join. I'm not gonna commit that much time. I have shit to do. But back in the day when in college, high school, like that was a thing, right? And so there were times where I'm like, man, but I'm trying to remember what caused it. Maybe it was like I was just fucking around and test battling or like playing you and Blunder, and I'm like, I did not just lose 4 games. Like, you know what I mean?
Jim was on my team for. I know we're kind of going everywhere, but I mean, we can just title it differently and come back to this. This is a very easy topic. Jim was on my team, and I was testing out something new, but I knew he was messing around with Sableye, Mega Sableye, so I brought Magic Coat, Mega Gallade. Oh
yeah, you bring some whack shit, but shit like that wouldn't bother me. But yeah, go ahead.
But it's definitely test games are a double-edged sword. You either gain confidence or lose confidence, or you knock the confidence out of your teammate, which is the big thing. But I think the important thing from that is like you'd learn like, hey, man, I just lost to this Conkelder 5 times because Joey doubled into it every single time. I gotta be aware of that. Like, there's so much things. Like, just to go off the testing in general too. Like, one of the team that I like, most of the teams that I crushed with, like the ones that I built, I lost like a lot of games. I lost a lot of games in testing. But I would say to my opponent, to my people helping me, I'd be like, hey man, I'm so confident with this team. My buddy Expulso was one of the PDT in Arabia. I was like, bro, I'm so confident with this team because I just learned that I just have to play aggressive versus Rapidash. That I will win. I don't care. I will win. Like this is a dub. So, like, there's so much that comes out of it too. But like Jam used to get like challenge again. We're all like that too. Me, you, and Blunder. If we lose.
Oh yeah. Because again, it's not a one-way thing. Like if Joey and Blunder, but a lot of people don't know because they, I've come to realize, oh damn, like now the perception of me is I'm nice, like I'm a good, and I'm not saying I'm not, like, but it's not something that I've been conscious when I like decide to make a video to help somebody or reply to a comment, I'm not thinking beforehand, oh, I'm about to be a good person. You know what I mean? It's just a very, common sense kind of thing. Oh, I want people to, nothing fills me with more pleasure than seeing other people improve. Okay, I have the knowledge to help this person improve. Oh, bet. And then the upside, hey, they shoot me a PM later on. Hey man, it helped. That feels good for that time, and then awesome, go do it again. And so that's how I think about that process. And so it's cool to see, oh damn, people actually think of me as a good person and a nice guy, and I very much appreciate that. But like the reason I say that is, when Joey and Blunder, if they challenge, like they ran up on me, and I'm in a groove. That, like, I remember Blunder definitely more so than Joey. But if they get waxed like twice, because they already know we're gonna be like, go home, kid, because it's gonna be like some shit talking. Like they will not stop challenging until they win. Blunder is far worse at this, but like Blunder, I'll drop Blunder in like 10 games straight, and he will not let you go home. He'll PM you once. He'll call your phone, email you, bro. Hop on, pussy. Like he will not stop until he gets that dub. And kind of to relay back to the test thing, I think that's something to really pay attention to. The Academy Premier League is going on. A lot of new guys are breaking through, getting their confidence up. When you go into a test, I always used to do this when I played Blue and Hugo back in the day. Man, good times. When I do a test, I think the biggest thing I'd see is people play with their hearts on their sleeves and their egos. Yeah. So I could lose 100 test games to you. Not for a second do I think you're better than me. Not because I'm like, oh, because we have to think about the psychology, right? If you're bringing a game to, there are a couple factors that go into. That's why I said it's not cut and dry who's like the best player ever, and those things can just never be determined. Not in Pokemon. But let's say Joey has a tour game, right? And Joey comes to me saying he wants to test this OU team. I, as the person that's helping Joey test, I might not play the tier like that. 2, I might not even be playing. So Joey is the starter and I'm on the bench. Yeah. And so, there's several factors. And so if I load something up and Joey gets waxed, right, I just completely crush Joey. That doesn't mean, because like I often used to hear this back in the tour days, oh, I beat him 3 times in test. I'm like, that doesn't mean shit. He's testing a team. So it's like, when you're not, like, the tester has, I wouldn't say things to lose, but he's the one that's he's the one that, like, the person who's helping the person test has nothing to lose or gain. You know what I mean? It's just like,
they can do whatever they want,
right? And so they might not play the game. And I used to always say this to you: play the game like how you'd play if it was a real game. Because if you're the person, if I'm the one accepting the test, I might play super aggressively, trying to flex, trying to make plays, and then when I lose, I'm like, ha ha ha, good. You know what I mean? Ha ha, good shit.
At that point, you have to play the game, not the player, and that's really tough to do after you've done like 1 million test games versus somebody.
But I always said, huh?
No, I mean, keep going. My bad. Go.
No, I was saying, like, I remember saying this to Blue and Hugo were very good at this. They were like, I think they got this. But I'd always remember, like, do not play as if you have nothing to lose, because that's not how you would play if I was playing. The point of me testing isn't to beat you. The point of me testing the team is to see where the weak points lie. So if I lose 20 games in a row and I mold that team, then that was a victory. But I think that what I used to see is people, as you said, lose confidence through tests, which is the wrong lens. The point of the test is to fail, find the chinks, not to win every test game because your opponent that you're testing versus only brought bad matchups. And that's another thing. I always ask you guys to bring like the best, like the worst matchup for me, so that I can see, okay, is this something I can play around if the opponent were to bring this? Is it too big of a stretch? Do I need to change the structure of the team as a whole? Or is it something I can outplay? And sometimes you guys would come, you bring the same bad matchup, and I get waxed every time, and I'm like, okay.
But then you learn. I mean, a good example of that is I linked the game right there if you want to show it on screen. But I built this team with double Ghost. It was Rotom plus Gorgeist. And
Yeah.
it had my favorite mons to use in the tier, Wishy Washy, Silvally Dragon. So I basically used my favorites because that's kind of how once I learn a tier, I don't care if you know what I'm going to bring. I'm going to use what I want because I'm good with it. And when I was testing, I noticed the mons that gave me the most were obviously dark types because I had no dark resist, a Rapidash, and a Scavalier. And I freaking played all three of them with Cyber Odin, and I destroyed them that game. Why? Because I lost 6 times in a row fighting them, and I knew exactly what I had to do to make it. So, just an example.
No, that's actually great. I'm glad you gave a real life example. Something that I'm gonna be moving into is stop making things as abstract.
Nice. If you want another example as well, my finals game or my final week game, Kashillo's had Clawitzer, Thievul. Once again, my Dark Resist is Mawile offensive, and Clawitzer gets a kill whenever it came out. So you'll see situations where I'm going to stay in on Mudsdale, or I know Clefable's going to teleport, or Silvally's going to parting shot, so I'm going to bring out Jolteon, even if it's -1, to say, hey, stay the hell back, Clawitzer. It's just, you learn. This is all through testing. I know what I lose to, so I'm going to play in a specific way. I even led Jolteon because I don't care that he has a Mudsdale. I have to make sure that Clawitzer doesn't...
Defensive, offensive position, yeah.
Exactly. So, you'll see this entire game. I even play aggressively versus Mudsdale. I try and Volt Switch on it just because that turn he easily could have double
switch, right. And that's... go ahead.
Yeah. But the other turns, you'll see me click Toxic, and then, again, you'll see turn... I don't know if you're showing it, but you see turn 11.
No. It's going to be just the usual format.
Yeah, so...
The blank screens.
But yeah, there's just it's just like that. I realized I freaking doubled from my Jolteon into Rapidash on a Mudsdale that was out in front of me because I knew Clawitzer, if it came in on that double on that switch, it would kill something. So I did that just to wild charge for 50% to put it in range of Mawile for later or Rhydon for later. So and this was only done because I knew what I was weak to. Although this one was a little bit less tested, but I knew what I wanted to use. But I recognized what I was weak to just based on previous stuff as well. And, you went to there. So, Jam, like you said, he could lose 10 games, but he'll crush his opponent, even if they have a bad matchup. Even if he has a bad matchup, arguably. He'll crush his opponent in the tournament game because he's played it. He's played it so much, and he knows. And, yeah. I like how this went from how do we think about the meta. It's fun. It's fun.
Nah, but I think these are important things to note. I mean, it's a podcast. People talk. It's a conference. It's not man, what do they think about Zygarde? I don't think. Tell me your opinion on Zygarde. I think they're just enjoying the conversation and just allow it to flow. Because I intend to do one where we actually go through the entire. What do you... But I do think a couple more bands are coming, so I'm not overly committed. I'm just enjoying things and allowing it to flow. Kyurem is a funny one. I don't think overall it's really much of a debate with Kyurem. I can't see it lasting a tier. I don't see enough countermeasures to that Pokemon.
Yeah, there's not. I mean, you might be an avid Melmetal user too, and oh man, Dragonets never give me problem. And then they pull up with the Earth Power Life Form.
Life Orb just drops you, and Life Orb is just as good. That is not. I don't think that's staying, but I could see Pheromosa getting a little land, a little time. I'm not sold on that yet. I'm not sold on anything yet. So pretty much only Kyurem. That I'm certain that shit cannot stay. But that aside, with the tournament thing, where it's making a good point. Something I often see. So I get a lot of PMs, right? I'm saying this mostly to the audience who's listening. I get a lot of PMs either about Jam, what should I do in this situation? I've been 1300, 1400, 1500, whatever the number is, and I've been plateauing, right? I'm actually got a comment today that was very similar. And so generally, and I kind of touched on this in a couple posts, but they're generally two sets. Call them sets: skill set, mindset. Mindset are your thoughts, attitude, things of that nature, and your skill set is, you know, what you actually do. Do you know how to predict? Do you know how when to not predict? Do you know how to game plan? The actual how to. And so previously I gave a lot of how to. Well, the beauty of the academy is I get to interact with people like on a ground level. So it's not like, oh, a YouTube comment and I have no context. Like, people actually come to the Just for Jam channel and leave a message, and you know, we have actual dialogue, and I get to see patterns over the hundreds of people at this point that I had to have conversations with. And what I've noticed is 99% of the time it's not them not knowing what to do or the team or things of that nature. It's that very thing we were just discussing, where it's like, when they lose, how do they process that? And I can speak on this because I used to do this. Like, everything I teach you guys, I've done and been victim to, and so that's how I know how to get around it and how I've tested and learned it. And this isn't unique to Pokemon, as I've said, which is why a lot of people always say, yo, this goes beyond Pokemon. Yes, because it's a human thing. It's not a Pokemon thing. When you lose and then you know, X out of battle and run and go home, or X out and go to YouTube and you go watch porn, or you know, whatever the thing is that's gonna make you feel better, that's not because of Pokemon. That's just how you process when things not going your way. And so when the biggest thing I see is when like that person is on the plateau, I'm like, try this. Try forgetting about points for a sec and just play each game the best you can. And after each game, just focus on what you did well and what did you learn.
Yeah, what you did well is a really big one. You don't typically you don't typically do that if you lose a game.
Right.
That's for sure.
100%. Like, and the Joey, even like, if we're being transparent, you can share with them in a sec. I think this is important to demystify YouTubers and top players and all these things. Everybody has their thing. They're no different from me, and I think that's the biggest thing I want to. I wish I remembered more of my journey, so I could share it.
That video last time we talked. Holy crap! You just remember? Yeah, I was supposed to make that video talking about.
Yeah, you did. You definitely did. But hopefully, it's the right time now. I think the awareness of the community is at a height. Like, I think it's competitive Pokemon is on the upswing again, and I think I'm seeing a lot more people actually remembering, oh shit, I'm supposed to be enjoying this game, and that's something I'm pushing a lot to again it's a reminder. You know, you get on the ladder, you're so focused on, I want to become this point player, that you hate the game. You lose, you hate yourself, you're beating yourself up, you're no good, you're shit, you'll never be good, have I lost it, all these things. All of us have these thoughts. And then you kind of slow down, play one game at a time. What did I do well? And it refocuses things, because every game you did something well, guys. Every single fucking game you did something well.
Yeah, even if it was just a lead.
Even if like, bro, even if it's you clicked lead seed on turn 6 and it hit, like, there's always some shit. But I think what I've noticed, and I'm definitely guilty of this outside of Pokemon, is something I've corrected recently, and I'm continually correcting, is, you know, when we focus on what's wrong, there's the assumption that we can get to a point where we have fixed everything, which is not, that's perfection, which is impossible for a human. Like, we're inherently, you know, flawed creatures. And so to strictly focus on what you did wrong will be perpetual and will always lead to you beating yourself up. So even no matter what you do well, you're never going to pay attention to it, because you're always focused on what could I have done better, which is important. That's an important piece, but frame it from a what did I do well and how could I have done it even better. That empowers you more so than I've never done anything right. Even if I won the game, I'm a piece of shit. I should have. And so it just leads to so much pain, and then you don't even want to ladder anymore. Not to mention you losing the haze pecs, and so that doesn't help. And Clef, that just but that's just something that's really been on my heart to share, because so many people have been losing that and releasing that kind of mindset, and it's been beautiful to see what's been happening and how many people have been breaking their barriers. Go ahead.
Oh, definitely. Like I went from, just like to say how I did in this is my recent tournament, and I always talk to Jam. I always DM him, bro, I'm gonna join this tournament. And he's like, bro, you're not gonna like this tournament after a week. I was like, I don't care. I'm gonna join this tournament. Wait, bro, I'm not gonna join this tournament. Me and Blend do the exact same thing.
Yeah, they do.
I end up in the tournament, and I start 1 and 2, and then from there I won for a month and a half straight, and ended up 7 and 2. And what I did after every game, win or loss, I rewatched the replays a million times. Like, obviously the ones that I won, I felt better about rewatching, but I rewatched all the losses as well. I was like, crap, I could have done this here, but wait, this was a good turn. Let me remember that this is a good way of dealing with this Pokemon. And I started to notice like my weaknesses, my strengths. I even told Jam,
Ninjask.
yeah, Ninjask. So Ninjask is a fantastic Pokemon in NU, or was. I don't know how it is currently, because we have a new NU right now. But Ninjask is a fantastic Pokemon in NU, and I kept losing games that I used Swords Dance Ninjask at, because I wasn't sure if I was using Swords Dance at the right time. Even when like looking back, I was like, I could have used it here, or maybe it was better to use it here. So I completely eliminated that factor by not putting Swords Dance on my Ninjask. My Ninjask was literally U-turn, Dual Wing, Protect, and Defog. And I completely eliminated that factor. Now, I mean, that's not maybe the best way to do it, but I figured out what worked for me.
Right.
And now when I use Ninjask, I don't have to think about, okay, well, I have to set up, because like Ninjask is such a good Pokemon and so fast that in NU that it's the type of Pokemon that will open up ways for its counters very the best, because it will U-turn and acrobatics or dual wing beat all its steel types until they're in range for you to swords and setup. So you inherently start thinking about, okay, this is how I'm going to win with my Ninjask in the end game. Yeah. I completely got rid of that thought process, and I was using Ninjask more of, okay, I'm going to use Ninjask to weaken them, but for something else, because it involved less. It's not that it involved less risk, but also I noticed there was like a mental strain when it came to that mon for whatever reason. I don't know what it was, but there was a mental strain for whatever reason with that mon. And I had Pokemon like that too. Like I think Hawlucha.
I was gonna say, like Joey, every time he faced a Hawlucha, heart sinks. And before, not to cut you off, guys, please comment down below. What's that Pokemon that pulls your card? Everybody has. For randomly Mimikyu and Mrjamvad would always be like.
Mimikyu for sure was the one I loved fighting, because that mon, he finds a way. That mon always finds a way versus him. Yeah, it's weird because like I think Hawlucha way less now. Obviously, I've fought enough to realize whatever. And then I actually started using it, which I think made a difference as well. Like I used it a lot, and like I topped, like that's actually like I think the second or third time I topped the ladder last. In Sword and Shield, obviously off camera, but with Lucha, because Lucha is just so freaking good. I was like, holy crap, this mon's amazing. I wasn't even using like terrain; I was just using power. It was early, but not that early, but it was early enough. But yeah, like that's like. So I had that issue with it. I got rid of that issue. I figured it out, and I watched all my games, and from there I just played better. Like I played a lot better. And Jen was talking about, play how you will in a tournament. The thing is, I think not years ago, but I mean, I feel like obviously playing safer is a better option. But I think that if you're the type of player that acknowledges the fact that you have a bad matchup, even in that situation, like Jen would lose to us, whatever, to be able to play like a king versus whoever had the bad matchup, like maybe there you'd stay in on like let's say you have a Diancie and they have a Celesteela, and you have something in the back that gives you too much momentum, even though Celesteela is like not the best example because it would just leech seed anyway, the coming in, but you'll stay in because you know that if they double out into Greninja, you lose a Pokemon. It'd be better to give Celesteela a kill than to let Greninja come in, and Jam would stay in, and maybe he used the Diancie sometimes in practice, but in the actual game, Greninja would die upon switching, which honestly is a fault of the opponent. If the Greninja has that much of a good matchup, they shouldn't do that, but he's positioning himself in a way to not lose to it. So, like, you learn all that as you're playing, and Jam would, like, they're all pieces, right? They're pieces of the entire game, and you figure out what piece you need. You figure out what piece you need to move in a certain way. That way, another piece can't, you know, take your king. So, or win the game, whatever the scenario is. So, yeah, I was just thinking, like, and like, you see how you improve as you play too. Like, I'll look at my week 1 NU game versus like my last 5, 6, and I'm like, holy crap, man, I was on fire.
Nah, for sure. Not, and that's not your first time doing that. You did that in RU, I think.
Oh, yeah. I did that RU last year, like the year before.
Yeah.
Not last year, but the actually it was whenever the last SPL I joined where I played RU, and I started whatever, and I ended with the highest record. I think I started 1 and 2 as well, and I ended with the higher record.
Nah,
7 and
2. I remember. Right. Like, I remember those same conversations, and again, these are a lot of them are off camera, and you know it's not often shared.
But I hate that point a lot because I don't play a lot of tournaments. So, and usually when I play a tournament it's because somebody say, man, aim is lost, and I was like, are you serious, sir? Let me go ahead and whip these whippersnappers into shape. Like, I'll do it. That's the damn thought process, bro. These kids don't know that they're playing this game because they saw my channel.
Right.
let me put this boy back into shape, bro. You see the old man in freaking anime. That's me in 5 years.
Nah, for real. Like, that's it's actually a funny way to put it. But like, I mean, most of we're not gonna go too much into history. I'll save that for when we actually have like we're having a conversation style. But yeah, a lot of. I think that's, you know, I actually had a comment, a new guy to my channel. Shout outs to Julian, very cool dude. Him and his girl play, and so they actually, I don't know if they read the book together, but like, he's not the first person that has like,
really cute.
Yeah, that's super dope. Cause you had a Pokemon wedding, but there's also like a couple of people who I used to do coaching with. You know, one of my guys had like a Pokemon like wedding ring and diamonds and stuff. So it was like super Pokeball, super dope stuff. But that aside, like, you know, I forgot what I was talking about. But yeah, anyway, go ahead, metagame stuff.
You said the guy Julian Doe.
Oh yeah,
did a whole.
Oh yeah. That's why I have a code first, because you seen the videos what happened. But he said he was basically saying to me that you know, I think you can get number 1, bro. Like, basically, like, I believe in you. And so something similar that I mentioned in the video, the rain video I did recently, is like, I have to remember that, you know, not everybody knows who I am, so to speak. And so they may see me as oh, he's just like a solid player and wrote the book and stuff, and think, oh, he could compete in tournaments. But it's like the literal opposite. You know, I've done there all and been there, done that several times. And so for me at this point in my journey, to give cadence to the, you know, Joey's old man kind of thing, it's just not very intrinsically motivating to me anymore to get another notch. I try not to like go blunders level, but I'm not one that lacks self-confidence, and so I have no doubt that if I chose to, I can be the best player on Smogon. Like, there's no doubt in none, because I've already learned the principles.
We're so old now.
But it's just not, it doesn't do it for me anymore. What does it, when I compare like another tournament win, another 10 tournament wins, good record, versus helping 10 people get to their own personal records, it's not even close at this point in my journey.
I played a guy, just to add on, I played a guy in a tournament. This happened several times. I played a guy in a tournament, and it was actually, I think, my week 1 of NU. I think it was Greninja Warrior, and he was like, bro, I started playing this because of you. I was like, holy crap. And I hacked him week 1 too. Like,
I know Greninja Warrior, yeah. I remember his
I think it was either him or DM me, or something. It might have been RU. Like, my bad, GW. If it wasn't you, I'm not trying to make up a story, but I'm just really bad with names. But yeah, so like, I played him. It was like, you know, I got into it because of you and everything.
Yeah.
Something like that. It might not have been him. It could have been somebody else. But it's so cool to see, like, you know, I was like, holy crap, I just fought this dude in a tournament. This was a really good game. Like, and or they beat me, or they do just so well too. Like, I think Lopany Kicks. I played him once in the Uber's Premier League, No, in Uber's Grand Slam, and he beat me. And I just seen him go like up and up and up since then. Like it's so crazy to see like people like that. So like it's insane. I could just be mixing up people, and I'm not trying to make fake stories, but it's sick to see. And you know, like to say like we don't care like as much. Like I'll I said in my video when I was narrating my final 2 games, I was like, you know, it's cool to see that I still got it. Like I know I got it, but now y'all can see that I still got it.
Yeah.
Like when I need to have it.
Yeah.
Right. And like to go back to what we were saying in the beginning, like if I don't like a metagame, I'm not gonna play it well. Like look at Road to Top 10 this year. I started hating it during OT. So I just like, you know what? This is not enjoyable for me. I'm in a bad mindset when I come and sit down and record because I know I'm going to play like 10 balanced players or hyper stall players that are just going to make the game. Like the video will be 2 hours long and I'll have 3 battles done. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and if I lose one of them, I lose so many points. So it's like, and if you don't play 5, you lose. You get the case. I was like, yeah, I know that. I'm not doing it right now. As much as I loved it in the beginning, and then OLT happened, and it's not even about maybe better players getting on the ladder. It's just what people were using on the ladder shifted so much.
No, I understand. I felt this very similarly towards the end of Isles of Armors. I think, you know, it was just one of those things where it was such a, you know, I try not to bring that into the live, so I'm never going to be like complaining about the metagame, because I know what I say influences other people's opinions, whether it should or not, sure or shouldn't, you know, that's a different, but, you know, if I'm like, oh, I'm tired of this shit, I know that's going to impact a couple hundred.
Somebody's going to hear that. That's going to be like,
right. And that's not why you choose to watch the video. And so if I'm not feeling it, I just won't upload. And so if I get a unique enough team, I'm like, okay, this is cool enough to where I can have a good time, even if I'm facing strict Rillaboom, you know, Rillaboom, the same.
Yeah.
The same. Gyropo Rillaboom is like the same Pokemon.
Yeah.
But nah, like you made an excellent point, man. The tours are cool, and every now and again, World Cup in particular, I'll try to join in. Just kind of like, you know, one thing I would say, like, I don't get too many people who are being like, oh, does he still have it?
I think I get that because I play a lot of meme stuff and have a lot of fun, and just I like to occasionally be a little bit more wild or like follow instinct and do things like depending, because like you said, I mean I'm the mixture, I'm the between
Blunder and Blunder just loses every game.
I'm the go.
Right. But no, Blunder, I think I don't know how much of his audience knows, but you know, like Blunder is a competent player when he chooses to be, like, you know, tournament wise.
I don't know how much of his audience knows. That's so funny.
Because I've just come to realize, man, like so much of mine, I just assumed that was the case, but I'm like, man, you know, so many people don't realize. I'm so okay, you know, fair enough. That's not their fault. So I'm like, okay, I'll just do a better job of communicating that. But yeah, that's basically why I don't do a lot of tournaments anymore. It's very time consuming. I don't play to lose. So if I'm playing, like, I'm gonna need that time to build and, you know, scout out the opponent and all that, and it's just not, the payoff isn't as big as me having a conversation with that same amount of time that helps somebody in the academy like break their own plateaus, and like, it just doesn't cut it. So maybe one day, I know a lot of you guys missed that.
I only entered it because one of my subs actually asked me, my boy Spatula, and he subbed to me on Patreon, so I was like, huh, he goes the extra mile as well.
Yeah.
Let me join this for him and see what happens. But I'm playing only NU, and I'm not doing anything else. It's a tier I happen to enjoy.
Yeah.
And like it's like I said, like, I mean, at this point, this is my job. You guys know, like, this is my job. This Twitch, I do things. I do investing. I do a few things on the side. Whatever. I make my money. Nothing illegal. But I always feel like I have to say that. I don't know why.
No, the mentality.
But like, you know, from a business perspective, I should have continued Road Top 10 because it got the most views, it did really well, it made money, and I had sponsors as well. But it's like, if I can't enjoy it, and that's just who I am. Right. If I cannot enjoy it, I cannot do it.
Yeah, like 100.
And I'm not the type that's gonna slave away at a job to do. I mean, part of the reason why I what's it called? I mean, if you have to do what you got to do, like if I'm in a situation where my family needs me, I'll do what I have to do. But I'm very blessed to not have to. Part of the reason why I even started going full time on YouTube is because I was disrespected at the job I was working. I was like,
What
you know
what did
screw
they
this.
do, Joey? What did they do? How did they get rid of the
Yeah,
greatest?
so let me tell you guys. Let me tell you guys. Let me give you guys a story. What is my puppy doing? Let me give you guys a story. All right. So I worked at a restaurant, a very good Italian restaurant. I was a waiter. I was also a busboy. And this dude.
How old were you at this
Dude,
time? Bring them. Take them back. Take them back.
take him back. Let's see what it was. What's 2014? 15, 6 years ago. Damn, man. I was barely 20.
Oh, okay.
I was barely 20, maybe.
Young aim.
Like,
Young
it might have been. I might have been 19 as well. 19 or 20. So, either 19 or 20. So I had this job. One day, the dude is like, "Hey, man, you're like the best work we have here. You're doing all this." Next day, he'd be cursing me out. So I was like, "Whatever." You know, it's. I learned very quickly that the restaurant business is a very angry business. Like if everybody will treat you well until it gets crowded. So anyway, there's nobody in the place. There's only one. There's only one other person there. I already give them their food, give them everything. They're eating, they're enjoying. I talk to them. You know, we laugh. I go back and I'm chilling. I go on my phone because this is the last basically person of the night. I look at my phone. Nobody can see me. And this dude is staring at me apparently on the camera. Comes out, curses me, and touches my shoulder. Like, hey, you don't do this crap. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah. So I naturally I'm not gonna punch him in his face when there's a clear glass where they could see me if they look, because there's actually an opening for the kitchen. Like you can't see me on my phone, but you can still see me. So I'm not gonna hit the dude in the face. So I was like, all right. And then I waited till the customer leaves because I have some sort of respect for them. I also get paid via tip. And then I got my money at the end of the night because the dude didn't pay me at all. Basically, I'm getting paid by tips to stand in his restaurant, I guess you could say, right? And then the dude at the end is like, oh yeah, go ahead and broom the stuff. I was like, okay. He gave me the broom. See, he walked back downstairs. I put the broom on the side, got my money, and I left. Never went back. Started doing Pokemon. Didn't get 2 weeks. Didn't do crap. I was like, I don't see you don't pay me, so I don't see a reason. First off, I didn't see a reason to sweep because like that's you're not paying me. Why would I do this extra thing for you? I'm gonna be the best person for my customers, and I did sleep a lot, obviously, right there. I was just angry, but I mean, I'm not gonna be disrespected in a way that like that, bro. You don't call me the best person here. It's like, yo, I'm very happy to have you here. Then the next man curse me out and touch me. That's the big thing. Like he's very lucky that I have respect for the customers and the other people in the restaurant.
Yeah,
this guy was an old man. Like I could easily, like I mean,
no. I mean, like regardless.
In my 20s as well, bro. My early 20s. Oh, I was working out like crazy too. Like that guy.
Nah. I understand. Like but we're not gonna dwell on that. But like, I trust me, honest. Like, if one thing people know of me, I don't take too well to disrespect. I'm a lot better about it in the comments. So I'll just ignore you now. You don't, because I won't give anybody that kind of power.
Oh, for sure. Or like you can just put the hide user from channel, so they're shadow banned. They can still watch the video. They can still comment, but nobody will see it.
It depends. There are a couple people who got that because they just do dumb shit. They just say like, if you're just like, if your comment just saps energy from the like,
the video,
right? But it depends though, because like, a beautiful thing I saw recently, right? So there's this guy I think named Daniel Wynn or something like that, right? He commented some dumb shit on my, and so he's in the shadow realm. I don't know if he knows he's in the shadow realm. If you're listening,
they can't know. They can't.
No, I'm saying like, he may have used some kind of reasoning. But he's in the shadow realm. So it wasn't because he said some like, it wasn't like your video sucks or that shit like that doesn't do it. It was just like some stupid shit. It was some random shit. I'm like, this guy is like, this doesn't even make sense. Like it was something that literally did not like the English. So I was like, there've been a couple of times, this guy is. It wasn't even always bad, but just out of pocket stuff. Even if it's just my opponent or, I'm like, maybe there's something here. I'm gonna just let it. And then that one day, oh yeah, go to the realm, my guy. And so
just sit over there.
But there are people who were like, I have dedicated people. Well, not as much anymore. I've noticed that. But there was a period where I had like dedicated people who would just be angry all the time and leave like only negative things. Their perception was only negative. And there's some of them that I didn't ban them. I just ignored them. And so my viewers would go in the comment section. I'm like, bros, do not give any energy to this. This has nothing to do with me. Like, and what I mean by that is, if somebody comes and they took the time multiple times to leave negativity rather than to unsubscribe, then that has nothing to do with me. That has to do with where they are in their life at that moment, and I don't know what's causing that kind of negative energy. So I'm like, hey, you know,
we're not saying to be. Well, I hope people are not misunderstanding. We're not saying to be sheep or yes men or anything like that. You were constructive criticism. I'm all for it, but if you're just insulting me for no reason, like with nothing behind it, I'll. Okay, yeah, I was ready for it. But like, what's the point of you being here then? Like, what if you're just gonna come out and do that? And that's all we'll have. I'll actually like share with like Blunder, and we'll share comments like, look at this dude, look at this loser, shadow ban, look at him.
It's not even like, bro. It's not even. Again, as I said, if somebody's just negative, there's a difference between. I get people who are like, oh, Jam, you could have done this, and this, but then I have people,
that's completely fine.
And then I have people who only comment when they find, like, they will not comment unless they can find a pro. So if I play that entire live 10 lives and I'm just like on fire, right? No comment. But let's say for 3 seconds and like I make a mistake here. Remember that one guy that tried to like list like timestamps, and then the comment was just like embarrass him. I'm like, don't even give him attention. This has nothing to do with me. Like, he's in a negative space. I'm just a receptacle for that negative. He's just mad at me right now. And, you know, you give grace to situations like those, because again, I don't know what is going on, and I've just grown beyond the point of just going in the comment and like going after them. Because I remember back in the day, I'd shred you to bits if you said some stupid shit in my comments, especially about a battle. Oh man, I'd come. But I've started to know I didn't feel good afterwards. Like, you know, oh, you proved your point. And I can tell when I have like those point proving types. I want to prove a point. Like, I gotta be right. And so I don't even give them any energy. And one of them, the reason I'm bringing this up, recently, I'm not gonna say his name, but this one guy only be negative, right? Even said, oh, I don't know why I'm still subscribed. I should unsubscribe. And I'd be like, bro, why is it taking you so long to come to that conclusion? I'm sure you're an intelligent young man. Puka agrees. But, you know, he commented on a couple of videos recently. Like, it's as if he's a different person. I told you, this guy was like just, do not invite this guy to your party type guy. Like, every video. And now he's like, oh man, I really enjoyed this video, dude. I'm glad to see that. So I'm like, whatever happened or was his mental headspace, perhaps he's in a better space now. Perhaps he's grown. Shit, I'd love to see if I had a positive impact on him with something I may have said, and he's like, you know, I'm gonna stop being a fucking, you know, asshole. And the dude's back. So I'm like, I'm really glad I didn't shadow ban him. And to see him come full circle like that, yeah, I think that's super dope. But not everybody gets that treatment. So Daniel win.
I mean, like the people I do it, like you flat out racist or something.
Yeah. Puka has something to say. That's not, you know.
I mean, it's almost time to feed her, and she's gonna get a little antsy right now.
It's all good. It's all good. I think like for Puka, and also guys, remember, don't put in the comments your thing, the Pokemon that, because we really didn't. We said metagame nice, and then we just had a conversation.
Yeah.
But we're gonna I still think it's all over the place in the sense of there's still quite a few things that I think are gonna change. And so right now it's fun. That's all I'll say. We're gonna do one, you know, when Joe has time, and you know, when things get banned, where we actually go through, like, you know, okay, hey, you think Kingdra is viable again? What you think Blaziken doing? Although we know your opinion on that.
Mid. I'm glad it's mid, dude. It gets to stay, and I get to abuse it later. That's the best part. I get to see it. Like, remember when Mega Altara was like at the top, or at point, like at one point in his Oras or whatever. At one point when that mon was at top, and then that mon fell off to Yu. Like, I get to see Blaziken be sucking now and hopefully good at a point later.
Yeah, that's just the nature of the. I think people are so. I'm not losing the Blaziken because they're so keen to it. I think over time, great point. That there was a point where everybody thought Mega Altar was the best Mega. Like it was so dominant with the Earthquake, DD, Dragon Dance set. Until people adapted, and they adapted quite a bit. And so it's just one of those things, patterns. Aura's actually a very good example because it was such a long meta game. So it was, I think Aura's lasted 2 years, right?
Yeah.
And because it was such a long meta game, sometimes Mega Pinsir would be the best Mega, sometimes Mega Scizor, sometimes, and nothing changed.
Fabio, nice Hito for Hito.
Nah, never. That was never. It was always garbage. Fun mod. Auras though, something you gotta love. Like Auras, that's how Hito for Hito was born. Like Auras, the creativity never stopped. I think that's why a lot of people love the Mega. I think Megas being put into a meta game like this, where there's no like gimmick, I think would really be a fun new thing to add. Cause imagine Mega Venusaur being back again, to have that as a, as a thing, or Mega Swampert Rain, or Dragon Dance Mega Aerodactyl, if that's the thing you want. Mega Zam, nasty plot, banned. But nah. I think a lot of cool things would come about, and I do think Megas are coming back. I still think. I remember we did a podcast. It was me, you, and Chris. I remember, and I think Chimpact. And I was like, "Dude, they're bringing the Pokemon back." And y'all are like, "Nah, they're doing the Dex cuts." And here we are, a year later. So Megas are coming back.
Yeah. I think Megas will.
Yeah,
I think they will for sure.
In the what do you think's next for Mars? What do you think they're doing next?
I think we're gonna get a DPP remake announcement during Pokemon Day in February.
Yeah.
I think it's like the 25th anniversary or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Has it been 25th already? Wasn't the 20th just the other day? I swear, bro.
Yeah, just the other day, 5 years ago.
That's crazy.
What Pokemon anniversary is in 2021?
It is?
Go. Pokemon Go released a Pokemon franchise 25th anniversary, so 2021 would also make it Go's 5th anniversary. Yeah, it's 25th. So Pokemon Go was released on the the 20th anniversary.
20th.
So 2021 would be like Go's 5th anniversary. Yeah.
Wow.
So, Pokemon 25th anniversary.
Can you believe it's been 5 years since people were running all them out from Go? Like, that feels just like, I swear, bro.
That was just the other day. I loved Go too.
Yeah, that's something
everybody did
with too.
Freaking world peace.
You said what?
It was world peace for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks,
Facts.
2 months, like
Facts. But nah, yeah, guys, this is the worst podcast of all time as far as staying on the topic, but I think you guys will enjoy the things that, the nuggets, as far as like supplying that to your own game, and remembering this game's supposed to be fun. Like, it's still fun. It's just that, your perspective is fucked, and so that needs to be fixed. But then after that, you're good. Let's take the losses. Be like Joey. That's the new phrase. Be like Joey. Watch your replays, because at the end of the day, it's gonna benefit you. You're gonna be scaled. Yeah. But any final words before we wrap up?
You guys all enjoy. Feel free to sub to me if you haven't. On my way to 300,000 by the end of the year.
Right.
Sub to Jam if you haven't already too. He's on his way to 20K.
Yeah, facts. 20K by the end of the year. But nah, this was refreshing. I'm glad you came aboard the academy.
The academy. Thank you.
Ship.
I enjoyed enrolling, and as I became,
the academy ship. We're building a spaceship currently. Other great things.
Can't wait for season 3 of the academy.
Facts. But nah, guys, the metagame's lit. Go play some OU, some UU, or some whatever.
I would say all the tiers are pretty fun. Like right now, I would argue.
Yeah. You need to. I know you play lower tiers far more than I. People forget. I forgot my identity. I'm like, damn. I used to be like an all tier.
You used to play Honage?
Right. Hey, I used to be an all tier, like not a just OU live type of guy. But I definitely would like to. Remember that series we did right before the release where we did like Road to Top 10 RU or something?
Yeah, 2 weeks to top 10 or
to the
something.
top. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like some shit to where like, cause if I try to play and learn the metagame, you know, sets and all that, I'm probably not gonna last. So I know with stuff like that, it was fun because you know you were so like knowledgeable of RU, and so it was. I'm like, okay, all right. So this does this.
We got to see how you got better as we kept going too, which was fire.
Yeah, yeah. People used to comment on that. They're like, oh, okay, yeah. Oh damn! Did you see that comeback? Remember those crazy? That shit was mad fun, bro. Like, I think we did it for NU too, did we? We did something for NU.
To the top. Pokémon D. I feel like we played NU. I know I did NU. To reach the top RU, right? I know we did RU for sure.
I swear I remember playing a Zot. Maybe that was RU.
Zatsu was RU.
Okay. I think maybe I'm just thinking of a live we did together and it was like an incredible comeback or something like that. I remember a video where like it was like we were getting, I should say I was getting crushed, and it was like a lower tier and pulled like 25 doubles and came back.
I think that was RU. I do think that was RU.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
I gotta watch through it. That was a good series. 13 episodes. Very good series.
But yeah, guys.
I feel like people really underrated that series too. I think it's because it was RU inherently, but that was a good one.
Now, those who did watch, a lot of people who are sub to me now came from that. So like people who did watch absolutely loved it. I'm debating whether or not I want to do a road for. I think I'll do one for OU for sure.
Cool.
But I think last gen I was like, not last gen, like DLC, I was like, I think I might do one for UU since OU is very boring, and just keep my OU lives and then do a road to top 10 in UU. But UU's kind of crazy right now, so I think I'll have to wait. But anyway, guys, peace.